Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome to, God, I'm looking at the title right now. I could have done that beforehand. Season 3, Episode 7 of Lower Decks, A Mathematically Perfect Redemption. Now, look at this, right? Just, Lower Decks, as great as it is, has never really been good at titles for thumbnails. They're usually one line, and when they're not, they're too long. But this right here, this feels like a personal attack. Like, honestly, I'm amazed it looks as good as it does. What was I supposed to do with that title? A 4-word title where 3 of them are big words. Anyways, yes, I've just finished the episode. Here, let's give credit. Oop, that was the wrong one. Let's give credit. I've just finished the episode, of course. I've also just learned that J.G. Hertzer was actually back as the Draconi captain. I did not recognize his voice. And, I don't know, that was weird. I was like, that looks like the same guy. Like, that's kind of weird if they weren't going to get him back. But no. Oh, wait, no, there was something else I wanted to say, right? A Mathematically Perfect Redemption. As much as that's an awful title to work with, that's an amazing title for this episode, right? Because, you know, you get it, it's Peanut Hamper, you get it's Peanut Hampers involved, but then at the end, you're like, actually, it was a mathematically perfect, calculated redemption arc that Peanut Hamper engineered for themselves. I told you you'd be confused by the names in this episode. That's Alex right there.
Oh, I was eating fresh watching Pokemon videos.
Peanut Hamper. It's an episode about Peanut Hamper.
I thought you said penis.
Oh, no. But no, a mathematically perfect redemption. I spent most of this, in fact, how much of most of this, about this much of this episode. Not really sure what to say. There are like 3 parts.
That's what's showing on your screen, so it doesn't look like that's what's showing.
Dang it, I got the wrong one. Okay, I really need to map that to a button, but I keep forgetting.
You're lucky I'm here.
Yes, I am. It'd be like a Markiplier screen where the game just isn't on the stream for the whole time. Yeah. This much of the episode is kind of like phase 1. This much of the episode, yeah, until exactly there, is phase 2. And then the remaining 30 seconds that they somehow managed to convince Jeffrey Combs to be in is phase 3. Phase 1 of this episode was interesting, because, like, I think, is this true? I think it's Lower Decks' first experimental episode, kind of non-traditional, Cerritos Light episode. I think it's the first experimental one. Unless you count, I guess, the premise of the show as a whole. But no, I liked it, but, like, there wasn't really anything to say about. I was just enjoying watching it. It wasn't particularly funny, particularly good, particularly bad. It wasn't meh, like, I was enjoying it. I could have literally watched this all day. But, I don't know, it was just kind of interesting watching Peanut Hamper, kind of watching this unfold, this story happen. I will say, I did spend a lot of it kind of wondering why they immediately recognized Peanut Hamper, a evidently lifeless hunk of metal charging itself, as a life form. But they did answer that eventually, you know, that these people know technology, they've had stuff like this before. That did take away from it a little bit watching it, but no, it was still very enjoyable. I did notice, though, as I was going through this whole thing, you're telling me that the animation team created a beautiful, and it was really well done, custom intro for Peanut Hamper, the Peanut Hamper episode, and they didn't do it for Deep Space Nine. They didn't do the Deep Space Nine intro. They had the whole setup, the pylon whirling. I almost wonder if that was the intent, and maybe they didn't do it because this one took too long. You know, it was nice having a custom title sequence. I think we only ever get that in Enterprise, for In a Mirror Darkly. I think that's the only other custom title sequence. But no, it was just weird right after the Deep Space Nine episode that they didn't do it. That we got good remixes of music as well. It kind of set the tone. It set the tone for the episode, actually, because it was kind of a slower... I don't know, it just had a different feel to it. This whole part of the episode, like, it was good, it was fun to watch all of, but there's not a whole lot I want to say about it. This is probably going to be a shorter review. Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked the, whatchamacallits, the wings. Yes, like, every animal was a wing. The sky snake thing just going completely unaddressed. But no, let's fast forward then, because yeah, this whole thing, up to like here, was just a lovely little episode. I might have preferred, actually no, Jeffrey Combs. I might have preferred it, up until Jeffrey Combs came, where if it was just this, like there was literally no Cerritos in the episode, there was no Starfleet, it was just this like Peanut Hamper story. But let's see, I completely lost my train of thought again. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a shorter review. Because, yeah, you had... I don't know, it was an enjoyable episode. There just wasn't a whole lot to talk about. Once the Cerritos comes in, I mean, you had some nice scenes where they kind of, like, defended Peanut Hamper when Starfleet came down. It was all really well animated, I'll say. It was a very well done, complicated, like the lower decks. Oh, it's season 3. I guess that's the rule. You get a bigger budget. Between seasons 2 and 3, TNG upgraded its uniforms. Deep Space Nine upgraded its uniforms, and also Odo's face, and I think Cisco's hair. But yeah, between season 2 and 3, there's kind of like, I don't know, they settle. I always joke they get a bigger budget. I don't know if that's true. But the animation quality, which was always good on lower decks, has really gone up this season, I think. With the sole exception of where is the shot? This one. What is this nacelle? Like, there is a Cerritos model. Was the season 1 model just that bad, actually? Because this is going to be the season 1 Cerritos. Hang on. Can I check something? Hang on. I've got to check something. I'm actually going to go to a random... What am I doing? I own these. No, I got to go to Paramount Plus. I'm going to get an ads. All right, fine. I don't think you can see it because it's not the Chrome window I'm capturing, but I'm just going to open up a... Lower Decks, Season 1 episode. Let's go with this one. Temporal Edict. Nice episode, I think. Wait, that's not... Oh! Okay, I think I owe the animators an apology. I don't know how I forgot the Cerritos has big red Bassard collectors on the front. Here we go, I can give you that back. But, yeah, that's because the turbo, as we call it on this channel, has been sliced in half.
Oh, what got sliced in half? The turbos?
Yeah, look, the turbo. That's why it's all blue in the center. When I was like, what? This looks... Spoilers. But no, I'm like, this looks real bad. Like, what the heck? But, yeah, it's because it's sliced in half. You're not supposed to see that.
One turbo's missing.
One turbo is missing. This is not a good day for the Enterprise.
This is an Enterprise?
No. That's the joke. Okay. Moving on, though. Yeah, you know, animation quality...
It's an ESO, Enterprise-shaped object.
But it was from you. When we did the reviews last time, you just started calling everything that was Federation an Enterprise. You started it. But yeah. I mean, well, just look at, like, the fire, literally, the weapons fire, but also just all the trees being on fire. And Paramount Plus has decided it's not gonna work again. Refreshing. Give it a moment. And there we go. This is the ad. We gotta sit through the ad now. The Paramount Plus logo. Yeah, the fire, and like there's been a lot of busy scenes in a lot of these episodes. Oh, here we go. I can bring you back. I'll play a little bit, but like just the fire in the background. I guess, is it like maybe just a few flames of fire, but still, it's like a big complicated foresty area, loads of trees. I mean, they had to do a custom intro that is not exactly dull, it's busy. I mean, there was so much to this episode, like, yeah, very well animated. But honestly, I think this episode is going to come down and be remembered as an interesting experiment that was pretty enjoyable. Maybe like Data's Day, which is probably going to end up being Alex's favorite episode of Star Trek. Mm-hmm. There's an episode of Star Trek called Data's Day, and it's probably going to be your favorite episode as they give me a big goofy smile.
Data and Spock are two of my favorite characters.
Yep. Alex loves their pseudo-autistic standards, autistic characters. I don't know what you'd call them. They hadn't invented autism yet back in those days.
Neurodivergent coded. That's
true. There's a word for it. But no, honestly, I think what this episode is going to, I'm sure I would have preferred this episode if kind of it was actually a bit of a redemption thing, but I think literally from this frame, I'm like, I know that silhouette. But this episode, I think, is going to be remembered as that, like the experimental, kind of nice Data's Day-esque. It was a good watch, not a whole lot to talk about or do, but just one of those pleasant experimental ones. That really the best part is the fact that we get a Jeffrey Combs Peanut Hamper episode sometime in the future, like the moment it powered on, because I recognized, of course, that computer. I'm like, is this a reference, or have they actually gotten Jeffrey Combs to come in and do a little bit of voice work? And by God, they did. Like, this is set up. You know, I can't wait. I don't care how many seasons it takes. Like, but the Jeffrey Combs Peanut Hamper episode, just, that's what this episode's going to be remembered for. Yeah, I mean, good on Jeffrey Combs for coming back. I think, like, maybe one of the reasons he came back is because this is going to lead to something else. Like, this literally was, maybe 30 seconds of recording, like, that he probably spent an hour at least of work to do. Like, I don't know how much he's there to get all the hardware set up, but God, it's just great having Jeffrey Combs back. You didn't get him for the Deep Space Nine episode, I guess, even though he was in the studio for this set of episodes. But, yeah, I want to say as well, though, I think a great pitch for a Lower Decks episode is Temporal Investigations comes onto Lower Decks and investigates why there's like 2.5 hours worth of content in these 20-minute episodes. I'm pretty sure, like, around here, I was already thinking, like, God, 8 minutes, we're getting kind of close to the end, surely. Like, maybe not that early, but around here, like, how much more episode is there? There can't be much. We're not even... The waterfall was halfway into this episode. That kind of makes sense in retrospect, but going through it, like, God, well, no, because this is when the Cerritos turns up. I feel like the Cerritos turns up here. Like, when the Cerritos turns up, I thought we were down at this part of the episode, like, near the end. It was almost over. But this was like a movie. There was a movie in here. And it's 26 minutes, which is apparently the new Lower Deck standard, because I've been seeing that a lot. And, no, we had a movie. I mean, we had Martok. I can never remember the guy's name. J.G. Hertz, whatever. You had Jeffrey Combs. You had Peanut Hamper. Like, there's some joke there. That's a bit meta, like, for Lower Decks to acknowledge the episode, but some sort of temporal investigations-y thing. I think there's a plot there. I will say as well, this is why I absolutely hate in the classics at the start when they do the and guest starring. It's the worst on Deep Space Nine. That has so many recurring characters, and you're like, it's like, and guest starring Jeffrey Combs as Brunt and Wayoon. Yeah, Wayoon. No, I didn't forget his name. Shut up. But like, then he doesn't show up for 15 minutes, and it, like, is kind of a big thing. You'd be like, oh, it's Jeffrey Combs, if you didn't know at the beginning. Imagine if this episode, and guest starring Jeffrey Combs as Agamemnon or whatever, and he only showed up for, like, 30 seconds at the end. God, I can't wait. There we go. I want to get both their lights on. I mean, I'm looking forward to this episode. The Jeffrey Combs and Peanut Hamper themed robot invasion. I've just realized she's brown because all her Starfleet paint came off. I thought she was dirty. That only clicked with me just now. But, yeah. Quick review. As I said, this was the Data's day. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but nothing really stood out, and I don't have much to talk about. Crisis Point 2 next week is probably going to be much longer, and Peanut Hamper Saga Part 3, The Search for Jeffrey Combs, is gonna be amazing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. The people in Vietnam haven't even gotten out of bed yet. That was so quick, but